Hi, my name is Hailey, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a normal ombre brow and a colored ombre brow. This brow tutorial is for somebody with sparse and light-haired eyebrows, like I have. So if you'd like to see how to recreate these lovely brows, keep on watching. First things first, on my natural brow, which is going to be this one right here, I'm going to be using two eyeshadow colors. One's going to be a light brown and the other is going to be a darker brown that's close enough to my root color. It's not going to be the exact color because, I mean, obviously my hair is purple, but it's going to be a darker brown. And I'm going to take the lightest brown eyeshadow and I'm going to go ahead and fill in my entire brow. And the reason I do this step first is because when your hair is so sparse and light like mine, it's really hard to see a definite shape. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the entire brow and it's going to give me a nice guideline to work with. And I will be using this small angled brush to apply that eyeshadow. And you don't need to be precise with this step, we're just filling in those hairs to give us a guideline to work with. And see, already you can see the difference between filling it in and not filling it in. You can really see where I'm going to be placing this product now. Now I'm going to go in with a smaller angled brush like this, and I'm going to be using Anastasia, Beverly Hills, Dipbrow, and Taupe. And I'm just going to be applying that on the outer half of my eyebrow. How you load up the product on the brush is just as important as how you apply it. So a little bit of this product goes a really long way, so you want to load it up like so, and then I usually just wipe the brush off. And when you do this step, you're just ensuring that you're going to get a nice precise line out of the brush instead of having the product all over the brush. It would just be a mess if you didn't clean it up a little bit. So now I'm going to go in on the tails. When using this product, it's super important that you wipe off your brush, especially when you don't wash your personal brushes all the time, like me, because this product will set. And I mean, that's awesome for your eyebrows because it means that your eyebrows aren't going to go anywhere all day, but it's not so awesome when it just gets solidified in your brush. So unless you want a fossil as an angled brush, I would really suggest that you just wipe off your brush when you're done applying the Dipbrow. Unless, I mean, you plan on using your tears to wash it off. Alright, so now I'm going to go back in with that same angled brush that I used to just initially fill in my brows, and I'm going to be taking a darker brown this time and just going over top where I put the Dipbrow. And then I'm just going back in with that lighter shade of brown in the front of the brows to just really blend the two colors together. So this part is what's going to make your eyebrows go from 0 to 100 real quick, is carving them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my concealer, and I just used Nars's Radiant Creamy Concealer in Vanilla. And I'm just going to be taking a normal concealer brush and I'm going to be going underneath the eyebrow with the concealer. Now I do have to say that I do not use concealer on the top of my brow because I find that when you do concealer both on the bottom and the top, it highlights the brow and it makes it look like a 3D image, which is not natural. That doesn't occur in real life. So, I mean, unless you're about that cartoony look, go ahead and do it. But if you want a little more natural, subtle highlight, I wouldn't put concealer on the top. If you want to carve out the top as well, I would just use your foundation, which is what I'm going to do. Now I'm taking my Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation in Light Sand. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand and use the same concealer brush and go on top of my eyebrow and carve it up. Alright, so do you see how in the front of the brow, when you carve it out, you get a pretty harsh line, which is kind of awkward because you want it to be a nice gradient. So what I like to do is I like to just take a clean finger and I go on top where I just place that foundation and I drag a little bit down into that brow just to break up that harsh line and mesh those colors together. And then I stop about there and I just take the big angled brush that I used to apply the powder with and I just push up those hairs. And there you go. Now it's not like a crazy harsh line. Now it just looks like a line that's made with your little eyebrow hairs. So that's brow number 1, normal brow down. Onto colored brow. The only thing that's going to change in the steps is the eyeshadow colors that I will be using. So in this brow, I just used a light brown and a dark brown. In this brow, I'm going to be using a bright fluorescent pink, a little bit of purple, and the same brown that I used on this brow. That's literally all that's changing. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill in this brow like I did with this one, but instead of using that light brown to fill it in, I'm going to fill it in with this bright pink. So now that your brow is this bright ass hot mess, what we're going to be doing is taking that same exact smaller angled brush with the Dipbrow and taupe, and I will be doing the same exact thing on this brow. And yes, I know that I'm using taupe and it's kind of weird for a colored brow, but trust me, we're just going to be putting eyeshadow on top of it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just giving us a nice base to work with because, like I said, my brows are sparse. So now that we've placed down that dip brow, I'm taking my bigger angled brush that we used to put on the pink. I'm just going to go over that dip brow with this purple eyeshadow that I have. Okay, so now that we have that purple down, I'm just going back into that pink and blending the two together in the front. Okay, and I mean, you really could just stop here with the colors if you wanted to, but I like to go one step further and deepen up the brow a little bit more. So I'm just using the same dark brown that I used on this brow, and I'm just going to go a little bit deeper into the tail and darken it up a little bit more. So now I'm going to do the same thing and carve it out because, I mean, obviously it got a little crazy on the side, so just going to carve it out with concealer on the bottom and foundation on the top. Alright, so that concludes this brow tutorial. I hope I was able to teach you something new today. I would love to hear your feedback and let me know what you thought about this video. You can also follow me on Instagram and see my looks. I usually post about once a day, or I try to. So yeah. This is my first video, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet, but